guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be doing an episode of Tumblr Sucks. I know it's been a while, but a lot of the things that I want to cover on that are extremely heavy. Since I've been having a mental breakdown essentially a couple times a day, I don't know if that's a good idea for me right now, so we're going to talk about something a little bit more lighthearted, though we know I like to make it really dark and depressing, so we'll see. Before we get started, if you've been here long enough, you know that if we go on Tumblr, we need holy water. What do we do when we don't have holy water? We use setting spray. Today we're going to talk about RadFems. I'm actually kind of surprised that I haven't talked about them before, but at the same time it's just kind of like one of those topics I almost want to stay away from, because even though I speak about feminism and like mainstream feminism and all that, Tumblr just makes everything so much worse, and I feel like what I talk about is already bad. So what we're going to see now, I'm scared. Anyway, let's get into radical feminism. So one thing I want to address right off the bat is that a lot of the posts I saw had opposing beliefs. So we had radical feminists who were against abortion. We had radical feminists who were extremely pro-abortion. It was just all over the place. All over the place. We also have to address that radical feminism and TERFs overlap a lot, so let me get into definitions before we get into the whole thing. The term TERF is short for trans exclusionary radical feminist. The term is used by trans advocates to describe feminists who oppose the inclusion of trans people in female spaces and organizations, whereas those it is applied to see it as a mischaracterization and a slur. Radical feminism is a perspective within feminism that calls for radical reordering of society in which male supremacy is eliminated in all social and economic contexts. Radical feminists view society is fundamentally a patriarchy in which men dominate and oppress women. So another thing that I saw on Tumblr about radical feminism is that rather than changing the system, they want to destroy the system and start a new one. Keep that in mind for what we're about to subject ourselves to. Menstruation is such a sacred and powerful time, and I wish we taught more women and girls to love their bodies and embrace their moon time rather than see it as a curse. Look, I will entertain most ideas, I will consider them, I will give it a thought. This idea is an immediate shutdown for me, okay? I don't care what you think about like femininity and having this beautiful gift of the fucking moon. No, I do not enjoy 5 days of having cramps so hard that I'm folded in half and have to miss school and work. Like, no, I do not enjoy that. It is not fun. It is not a gift, okay? Find me women who think that it's a great gift and would want to have their period more than once a month, because I don't know anyone like that. So you can be happy about it. I'm gonna keep being upset about it. Next. The reason women are superior to men is because we're able to exercise empathy and sympathy without the expectation of a reward. Hashtag men are literally worthless. I mean, do I even have to explain this? Do I have to explain? And every time I say that you can't generalize a group of people, people are like, oh yeah, but you can't say not all men. And I'm like, yes, I can, because it's actually accurate. It is statistically true that not every single man in the universe is incapable of exercising empathy and sympathy. Not every man expects a reward for that. That's what we call male friends. They're just your friends. Now then, there are the pieces of shit who expect something, but that's not exclusive to males. So this argument falls entirely flat. This is zero logic. Why I don't discuss feminism with men anymore. Every argument about feminism with men can be summed up with either not all men, you can't generalize it, see sexual violence, harassment, violence in general, yes all men, it's all just natural and not that bad, see porn, pedophilia, violation of boundaries, or my least favorite, it hurts men too. It's not a gendered problem. See basically any issue ever. Discussing with men is only draining our time and energy, and frankly completely beside the point. A man who expects women to educate him on feminism won't ever help our cause. Feminist discussions should be women focusing on understanding patriarchy and how to free ourselves of it. And that's not by convincing men that we deserve our rights, but by getting together and demanding them. Hashtag men will be blocked. This person doesn't want to discuss feminism with men, which they're entitled to do. I don't think it's right, but that's a choice this person can make. All right. From there, they say that men basically create every single issue by the very specific and very academic, mind you, inclusion of see basically any issue ever. If you're trying to make a point, usually don't say stuff like that. Just a note from me to you. Also, you want men to understand feminism and you want them to respect you, but at the same time you don't want to address the fact that some men, like women, might be undereducated in what feminism is, and so you might want to not necessarily teach them, but have a discussion with them about it. I have a discussion with my husband about feminism all the time. I respect and value other people's opinions. Whether we agree or not, I respect and want to hear somebody else's opinion. Well, I don't always respect it, but I'll respect their right to say it. To just cut them out because they're men, just curious, what about men who don't identify as men? Then what? Are they suddenly part of the discussion or not? Just wondering, because this seems so tailored to your specific experience that it doesn't seem like you've lived on planet Earth for all that long. Men will talk for like 15 minutes about something I could have summed up in 5 words. Like, they always make it so much more complicated than it needs to be. It's almost as if it's ingrained to their brains to overcomplicate things in order to seem intelligent. So you know how I've previously mentioned how someone posts about a very specific person, but then they generalize it, because instead of being like, hey, Sam, you fucking asshole, they'll be like, all men, all men, all men. And it's just kind of like, please give it a rest. Everyone has a smartass in their lives, in their classes, in their jobs. I've had them. Newsflash, both men and women can be this. I'm dealing with one and it's not a man right now, and it drives me batshit crazy. So yes, they're annoying, but this is not male exclusive. And it feels like the main theme of all these posts is that it's male exclusive, and it's just not. This is humanity. This is humanity, unfortunately. Okay, so here we have another one that says, Dear RadFems, when someone tries to silence you, scream louder. Your words help spread awareness, and you have the inalienable right to speak your mind. Never stop. I agree. You can speak your mind. I don't think that screaming is the way to let people know your opinion and have a valued and respected opinion. On the contrary, I think screaming will turn anyone off from listening to you, because then you'll seem very emotional and they're like, she's hysterical, which is a really bad stereotype. But anyway, so screaming, maybe don't do that. Maybe just be level-headed and say, hey, I'm allowed to say my opinion and this is my opinion, and move on. Y'all ever think about how women like horror genre more than men, and how it's probably because women have more experience with fear in their day-to-day lives? Yes, there are some men who attack women. Yes, there are also women who attack men. I can see the point of this post, but this is such a like dramatic post. Like, we can't say that women like horror more because they live it in their everyday lives. Because if you live horror in your everyday life, you'd think that when it comes to games, you'd want to do something happier. I don't know. When I have a terrible day or something bad happens to me, I usually don't want to go back to that moment and experience something similar, experience fear again, right? Hence why when I come home after a day at school and I need to probably just like scream at the top of my lungs for 2 hours, I usually watch something of lighthearted so I can get away from that emotion. So I don't know, this seems like an incredible reach to me. Anyways, guys, those were all the posts I had. I think we have obliterated a good amount of brain cells, so for us. Let me know what you guys think about these posts, about TERFs, about RadFems, about these ideas generally. Do you think that they make sense? What do you think? Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.